Aubrey awakens on Thursday the 25th, and she is acutely aware that Emily's birthday is coming up very soon. She rolls over, does a somersault, um, and lands in front of the TV. Apparently, fruit trees take an entire season to grow. Um, um, yes, fantastic. Oh, hell yes. Aubrey um, looks on the television and finds out that the spirits are actually very happy today. This is perfectly in line with her plans for today, because her plan was to. How did I get the slime? When did I get a slime? She wonders. Um, she puts the slime away and hopes that she will not be confronted by ghosts or anything like that, due to the presence of the slime in her inventory. Frankly, she's pretty sure that the only way to get slime like that is to kill a slime, but she can't actually remember the last time she killed a slime. So she's like breathing heavily, and her eyes are darting back and forth, and she's really nervous because she has no idea where this slime came from. And now, as a result, she has decided that it is time to go to the mines and just murder, just murder and nothing else. Fantastic. So, she thinks back to the recent events that have occurred near to, with, and around her, and she finds inner strength, knowing that at the flower festival, nobody, not even Leah, would dance with her, and she's still bitter about it. So, but she doesn't blame Leah. She understands that it takes time for people to grow accustomed to her presence. She understands that maybe she's a little bit neurotic, maybe a little bit unpredictable, so she's not going to blame Leah for rejecting her. And she figures that a far more healthy response would be to work extra hard to gain her affection in the future. So, to blow off some steam and very deliberately avoiding blaming anyone other than herself and nature, she goes into the mines with the intention of murdering all kinds of monsters. She encounters a grub, and she sees it, and it's just, oh shit. She's filled with terror. She did not manage to kill it in time, and it now has turned into a bee, which she now must tango with as it flies around, phases through walls, and generally becomes a massive problem. Though ultimately she kills the grub, and deliberately she thinks of it as a grub, not as a bee, because it seems like maybe if she does that, she will manage to emasculate the grub just a little bit, and hopefully that will contribute to its untimely, in its eyes, yet timely in Aubrey's eyes, demise. So, Aubrey manages to kill the grub, and she heads down to level 16. And as she does so, she remembers the flower festival. She remembers how Clint wanted to ask Emily to dance, and how Emily somehow managed to psychically ping Aubrey and get her to actually come to the festival. So we know that at least Emily wanted Aubrey there. For some unknown reason, Emily did want her there. So Aubrey isn't feeling super bad about Emily in particular. Um, instead, she's just going to focus on killing these grubs. Perfect. And she takes a little bit of solace in knowing that at least Emily has some sort of mystical or magical or at least somehow unexplained reason for wanting Aubrey to participate in local community events. Perfect. Aubrey descends to level 17 and does a few practice stances. She attempts to show off to this slime as if to say, you know what? I don't even care if if I do something embarrassing in front of you, you disgusting monster, because I hate you and I don't really care if you see me in a compromising situation. Oh my god, this is bad. All three of the grubs have turned into bees. However, like a bunch of idiots, all three of them have attempted to attack Aubrey from the exact same direction, and she manages to fend them all off simultaneously with no difficulty whatsoever. Though she does take a few stings to her arms, and she looks down and she sees that she's been gripping her sword a bit too tightly, and her fingernails are starting to break just a little bit. So she takes some time. She eats some salmon berries. The salmon berries are like a nice deep red as well. So she uses the berries as like a fingernail polish, and she uses that to repair the red nail polish on her fingernails. Perfect. She looks down, and her nails look perfect, and she knows that her system works. She knows that she can rely on her fingernails as an indicator of her level of health and vitality. Perfect. She heads down to level 18 and imagines what it would be like to slice through the bodies of a grub. And as she's imagining that, she actually does come upon a grub and corners it against a rock and just slices the hell out of it until it dies. And she feels very satisfied having done that. Though panicking slightly, she does run straight into a group of grubs and get out of hand a little bit. She attacks a grub. It phases through the wall like a bastard. Typical grub. A typical grubby grub. A typical bee. It just flies straight at her repeatedly, generally being annoying and causing problems. And finally, after killing the grub and disrespecting it deliberately by calling it a grub and not calling it a bee, Aubrey finds her way and attacks a slime. And suddenly, she remembers the reason why she came down here in the first place, which was that she fucking hates slimes so bad. She hates slimes so much, and she hates the way they squish. She hates the way their bodies just like deform. And she really just wishes that they would all die permanently. So that's why she's here. She's here to make sure that all of the slimes in the entire universe just die. She doesn't care how it happens. She doesn't care who does it, but she's pretty sure that she would prefer to do it herself, because at least then she would be, at least then she would be certain that, that the task had been accomplished. So that's exactly what she does. She goes into mines, and very deliberately, she painstakingly, oh shit, this, she can't get past, oh wait, yes she can. Wow, she was a little bit scared there. She thought her performance would have been throttled by the presence of that giant rock blocking the path, but it wasn't actually blocking the path. Luckily. Very luckily. Okay, she finds yet another slime. It was hiding behind a rock. It attempted to surprise her, and it did actually manage to do so, but Aubrey didn't actually care because she managed to kill it anyway. Oh my god! A steel small sword? Wait a second, let's look at this thing. 4 to 8 damage, and +2 speed. Holy crap, this sword is better. It's better in every sense. Holy crap, Aubrey is so excited. Oh, she goes over to the edge of what looks like a precipice into an underground pond. She stares out at the calm blue water, and she just thinks about her life. She thinks about how she got here. Thinks about this shiny new sword that she just received. She tries to imagine why it was there, who left it there, whether that person still lives, or whether they were eaten by one of those moles. And actually, these thoughts bring her a bit of sadness, and she remembers all of the lives of all the mine workers that were eaten by moles and whose explosives were stolen quite rudely by moles. And this, she was feeling sad, but now that she's thinking about the moles and the miners, she's actually getting a little bit angry at this point. And the more she thinks about it, the more angry she gets, and the more she just wants to encounter those little moles so that she can kill them unceremoniously. Though she does encounter a bee, and she engages it in honorable combat and slices its fucking head off, and it dies. Perfect. Aubrey is very happy to have been given the opportunity to kill, maim, slice, and otherwise obliterate bees in the cave system. Perfect. She's very happy. She goes down to level 22. She catches a glimpse of some grubs on the other side of this thing. She engages one in honorable combat. Oh shit, it turns into a pupa. Its skin just hardens. It's like a Pokemon. It's using an ability. It's using harden. It's hardening its skin. It's metamorphosing, and turning into a horrific, disgusting bee. And Aubrey is just, she's not convinced that it knows what it's doing, or that it should be taken seriously, because she's pretty sure that these grubs are scarier when they are grubs than when they are bees, because at least when they're grubs, there's like some incentive to kill them quickly, and when one is fighting a grub, one has to be very careful to kill it as quickly as possible, because one does not want it to turn into a bee. But once it is a bee, there's no incentive, because it's just going to stay a bee, and it's going to keep chasing after the adventurer, and until it eventually gets itself killed, ultimately, because of how bad its strategies tended to be. Holy crap! Aubrey just waltzes straight out over the surface of some sand and is attacked by 2 moles who drop more explosives and geodes and earth crystals. And she looks down at the explosives and is filled with regret and sadness. And once again, she takes a moment to remember the miners who lost their lives to those moles. And she very sadly puts away the explosives and hides them away for future reference. She goes down to level 24, encounters more grubs, very quickly engages them in honorable combat, and shit. Oh, she does manage to kill them all. Perfect. She's very happy. She's very happy, especially with this new sword, which seems to be perfect for killing them. And she's quite happy with the progress that she's making. She's gone like 10 levels already, just today on Thursday the 25th. And all she has to do now is kill this one remaining green slime. So her eyes narrow, and she squints and presses her eyelids together, and she furrows her eyebrows, and she just stares straight into the green slime's soul and understands that it is a disgusting piece of crap and that it needs to die. And so, with a single swipe, she raises her sword above her eyes and just slices it clean in half, and it dies. And then she's overcome. Well, no, she experiences a very faint hint of emotion that would indicate that she is feeling just only slightly better, having murdered that slime. She realizes that it is almost midnight, and that if she doesn't get the hell out of here and get back home, she's going to pass out and lose a whole lot of sleep. She's going to lose a whole lot of energy. She's probably going to be robbed as her unconscious body lay on the ground. So she's very concerned and determined to get back home so that that does not happen. She fears cut purses and highwaymen and basically any kind of unsavory type that would attempt to accost her in the middle of the night while she's too sleepy to defend herself, and then like just rummage through her pack and take all of her bug meat and fiber and like quartz. She also really, really, really hopes that nobody takes her amethysts that she picked up down there in the mines, because she's really certain that Emily would love to receive amethysts, and she doesn't want to lose them. Perfect. She dreams. She only gets like 5 hours of sleep because she was out so long. But in the night, she dreams about a new kind of elixir. She remembers the cave carrots and the explosives and all of the things that she has received in the caves, and she completely understands how to make a life elixir, which consists of basically all of the magic mushrooms that she can get her hands on. She's absolutely certain that if she takes all of the hallucinogenic mushrooms that live in the caves and combines them into a single elixir, that it will actually be a really good thing for her, and that she will benefit from that. She looks and she watches the fortune-telling channel, and luckily, the fortune-telling channel tells Aubrey's fortune, and it further tells her that the spirits are happy and that they will give her extra stuff. Fuck yes. So, without further ado, Aubrey starts to put away all of the spoils from her previous encounter, from yesterday. She has to be pretty careful about the sorting system because she hasn't been paying any attention to the sorting system up until now. So she has to just be a little bit wary of that as she puts away all of her stuff. Perfect. Okay, she's finished putting things away, and so she pulls out her watering can and waters a single plant in one corner of her plot and a single plant on the other side. She has harvested almost every single item in her farm. And she just takes the topaz. Actually, no, she doesn't take a topaz. She puts everything back. Oh shit! And also she puts back the watering can. Perfect. And then she heads off in the direction of the mines once again because she really wants to get revenge on those slimes. She got a lot of revenge on the slimes yesterday, and she even got some revenge on those little moles for taking the lives of so many explosive wielding mine workers. But honestly, she doesn't feel much better at all. What? Maru, the scientist, has determined that the only thing that will power her latest invention is a carp, which is very it's very concerning that she would think that. Aubrey doesn't really believe it, but she trusts Maru, and she kind of likes Maru. She sort of thinks that Maru is like a delightfully awkward scientist-y type. So, though she doesn't really have a crush on Maru in the same way that she has a crush on like Leah and Abigail, she still likes Maru and wants to help her out. At the same time, though, she has no actual intention of bringing Maru a carp because she's going to be in the mines all goddamn day. She's going to be exacting retribution on slimes, and she's very excited to exact retribution upon blue slimes now, which she has seen past level 25. So, she enters the mines and makes a beeline straight toward a slime. She just screams like an unholy scream, and just slices its little skull straight in half. It doesn't have a skull. Slices its little gelatiny body completely in half without a second thought. And then she finds like barrels and plants and all kinds of stuff just hanging around in here. And she's gone full berserker mode. She's out of control. She's just spinning around in a circle like a whirlwind and murdering everything, chopping everything's head off, and also destroying barrels and cutting plants. It's quite an amazing sight to behold, and Aubrey feels that she's completely justified in doing it, and she's now starting to develop a strong hatred of these bees. And if a single one of these bees manages to sting her ever again, she's fairly certain that she's going to go full Hulk mode and just rip its wings off and then let it sit there beating its little wing stumps on the ground hopelessly. And then she'll watch it beat its little wing stumps and will feel great pleasure in watching it struggle, because they're so annoying and they always manage to sting her at least once, and she's tired of it. Perfect. So, once again, she's attacked by a bee who uses the cheapest tactic in the book, which is to spiral around her, because it knows that Aubrey's one weakness is that she can only attack in one of 4 directions. She can only attack up, down, left, or right, and she can't attack diagonally. So if the bee can do a little spiral move and like close in on its target, then its target, namely Aubrey, will have a hard time fighting back against that, because it will be very difficult for her to aim correctly. Holy shit! A green slime was hiding behind a rock, as is their MO. And Aubrey should have expected this, but frankly, she doesn't feel very threatened by green slimes, so they can honestly slime her if they like, because she knows that they'll just die as a result of that. So she is sending out a call. She's like doing a war cry. She's screaming and making sure that she's screaming loud enough for all the slimes can hear, and she says, "You will die. I will take vengeance on you, and if you slime me, so help me, you will die slower." And then she just screams that, makes sure all of the slimes can hear, and she's fairly certain that she can hear like squishing noises in the distance as all of the slimes tremble in fear. And it brings her great satisfaction to know that she has terrified all of those slimes. Excellent. So, she figures that that's probably enough. The fuck? She reaches level 30, but there's not any chest here. And she thinks maybe, she wonders if maybe she needs to have a torch to see the chest, because there's almost always a chest. But she does a systematic check of all the walls, despite how dark it is. She systematically checks every tile and determines that there's no chest at all. Fine. It's a bit disappointing, but the truth sometimes is disappointing, she realizes. Aubrey thinks back to all of the times when the truth was disappointing, and she remembers in particular that her time at the flower festival was particularly disappointing, and she's now fighting something that is terrifying. It's making a horrible sound. Oh my god, it's like a little horrible ash monster shaped like a small person. It's like a pygmy ash monster. Jesus Christ. What the fuck? She's horrified. The sound that it makes is just the worst. Oh my god. She can hardly contain it herself. Oh my god, she's just terrified. She's just swinging her sword wildly. She's not even in berserker mode at this point. It's more that she's swinging her sword around in desperation because she's so terrified. Jesus Christ, she really does not want to have to face one of those monsters ever again. So she picks up a torch and holds it over her head and attempts to find the way down. Perfect. She goes down to level 32. She's now realizing that she's very close to level 40. Oh god, another one of those pygmies. An ash pygmy has arisen from the ground. It has shown itself. It's like a golem. It's like a pygmy ash golem. And Aubrey hates it. She doesn't know exactly what it is, but she does know that she hates it and does not want it to touch her. God. It makes a horrible noise. Oh shit! Oh my god. Aubrey's realizing that she may have been wrong to want to become an adventurer if this is what she has to face down here. Because she doesn't so much hate this pygmy ash monster, pygmy ash golem, so much as want it to stop existing completely. She doesn't hate it, she wants it to just disappear from existence and never come back. God. Okay. However, she's not to be deterred, because she promised herself that she would become the greatest adventurer in the land. Even before she set out to do this, she was certain... Oh god, what is that? What is that? What is that? What is that? Oh shit, there's bats. Why bats? Why bats? Why bats? Aubrey hates bats. They're terrifying. The sounds that their wings make are horrific. Are just terrifying. She really does not want to be swarmed by bats. However, she's pretty sure that if she stands right here, she can hold them off. But isn't certain that they will ever stop their attack. So she climbs up the ladder, slips a little bit. Oh my god, she's terrified. Well, that, she says, was the worst experience I have ever had adventuring. And she goes into the Adventurers Guild, runs straight up to Marlin and says, "You son of a bitch lied to me. You tried to tell me that it would be fun. You tried to tell me that it was glorious, that there would be glory in it. And what I saw down there was nightmarish. And I never want to go down there again. It was nightmare fuel, and frankly, I'm disappointed that you didn't tell me." Okay. They're not even on here. Whatever those pygmy ash golems were, they're not written on Gil's list of things to kill. So either they weren't real, or Gil doesn't even know about them. Which would make a lot of sense, because it looks as though Gil has not gone adventuring in many years. It looks like he looks like the kind of person who has been rocking back and forth in that rocking chair for the past 30 years. Not ever having gotten up even a single time. He probably sleeps in that chair. He probably goes to the bathroom in that chair. He probably eats and sleeps and does literally everything, including judging young whippersnappers such as Aubrey's self in that chair. And Aubrey is almost entirely certain that Gil has never seen a pygmy ash golem, and therefore that, well, actually, Aubrey stops in her tracks and she thinks, wait, if Gil didn't even know about those things, and I do, and I've killed them, I've killed multiple instances of the pygmy ash golems, and the so-called best adventurers in the land, Gil and Marlin, haven't even heard of them, let alone seen or fought them, then that means that I am de facto better. I am a better adventurer already. I have shown greater courage and bravery. I wanted to run from those things, but I didn't. she realizes, holy shit, Aubrey thinks. I am a brave person. I am a brave adventurer, and I will succeed. And I will accomplish great things. And as she thinks this, Aubrey, um, uh, Aubrey realizes that she does intend to go back. She completely intends to go back into the mines, and she completely intends to face more of those monsters, and she completely intends, once again, to fight them and kill them, because she realizes that this is the only way for her to become the greatest adventurer in the entire land. So, with a little bit of a grin on her face, she tries to picture the pygmy ash golems in her mind. She closes her eyes and walks out into the darkness. She walks out onto her property, stands in the pitch blackness, closes her eyes, and just imagines being surrounded by pygmy ash golems. And she looks into their horrible glowing green eyes and watches them shuffling toward her and forming out of nothing and like screaming and screeching. She imagines the noises that they make when they die and when they attack, all of the noises that they make, and she's filled with terror. But she stands there and keeps doing that for several minutes. She hears a noise and looks up and sees an owl flying overhead, and it scares the absolute living fuck out of her. But she keeps doing it anyway. She stays in the pitch blackness, continues to imagine being terrified, and after a little while, she no longer feels terrified. In fact, the feeling of the terror is slowly leaving her body, like a poison being extracted from a wound. She no longer fears these monsters, and feels determined that when she encounters them again, she will kill them without experiencing any fear whatsoever. And she has convinced herself that that this is exactly how it should be, and that she has a responsibility to the town, to the world, to probably God as well, who probably hates those things, to kill them. Excellent. Feeling determined, she goes to bed and sleeps beautiful sleeps